Hey word nerds, Victoria here. So if you're wondering why the location is different today, it's because I am babysitting my parents' dogs. So this little guy here is Pilot, and over here is Snowy. She is almost 19 years old, if you can believe that. So she's deaf as fuck, but super cute. So this is something that I've only told a couple of people before. So naturally, I thought the next step is that I should tell the entire internet, because why not, right? So as some of you know, I am writing a book. I am an aspiring YA novelist, and I've written several books. Obviously, none of them have been published, but they're all rubbish because I was a kid. Well, that's not to say that if you're a kid, you're a bad writer, but I wrote a lot of cheesy drama and the Hunger Games knockoff, so we're not counting those. But I am writing a book. And so today I thought it might be fun to just discuss what it's about, share some of my ideas. I'm on the second draft of edits, so I'm hoping to be finished those in the next few months, but sometimes it's hard to balance work and school and writing and all that. But when I'm done, I will definitely be requesting beta readers, so if some of you are interested, I would love for your feedback. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge when I come to it. So this is all about my novel, Rose Evans and the Monster Hunters. So this is my cover. It's not a real cover. It's a cover that I made to motivate myself to finish writing, but I'll leave it up here so that you can kind of get a feel for what the book is about, I guess. I mean, I'm going to explain it, but like a visual image is always helpful, so yes. So if you can't tell from the title, Rose Evans and the Monster Hunters is a YA urban fantasy set in the Pacific Northwest in today's world. So if I were going to sum this up in one sentence, it would basically be something like, after killing a monster no one else can see, Rose Evans, a 16-year-old girl who is an ex-ballet dancer turned party girl, must balance her life as a popular high school teen with her training as a mind-controlling monster hunter. It's basically like, you know, the Darkest Powers series by Kelly Armstrong meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer? So that's kind of the vibe that I'm going for. I obviously love fantasy. If you can't tell by my Throne of Glass songs, I'm obsessed. So of course, that's the genre that I always wanted to write in. This story in particular actually came out of a dream that I had when I was 12. I have really vivid dreams. Okay, it's kind of weird, but like, they'll have like an entire plot and cast and characters and basically be like a novel. So when I was 12, I had this dream. The story that I'm writing now has changed somewhat from then because my 12-year-old mind was 12 years old. So obviously doesn't make the greatest story, but I'm drawing a lot on what I dreamed then, which is in terms of like what the monsters are, who the characters are, and the way that the world operates and magic and stuff. So that's sort of where I got the idea, but it has morphed a lot since then. So our protagonist is named Rose Evans. She's 16 years old. As I mentioned, she used to be a ballet dancer, and then she had a really bad injury, so now she's basically a party girl and doesn't know what the fuck's going on with her life. She basically just dodges responsibility and is a bit of a hot mess at the beginning. The reason that I'm writing this character in particular, since she's so opposite to me, like I'm such a nerd, like sitting in my room reading books and like writing shit, and I don't know, is that weird? I don't know. My walls are covered in posters of various like fantasy movies and stuff, but I thought this was a really important character to write because she's innately very gentle and sweet, and I feel like a lot of the times in YA, so first we had like the traditional heroines who were gentle and sweet like Bella Swan, but they mostly just spent the whole time getting rescued, which kind of pissed me off as a feminist. So then we saw this opposite swing to like the Katsas from the Graceling or Katniss from the Hunger Games, who are so strong, but like they're so strong and they'll like slaughter everybody in their sleep, which is awesome too. But like it's just one kind of femininity. So this story for me is basically like what would happen if the traditionally feminine girl was asked to save the world and she could find it in herself to do it. So that's why I'm writing this story. And also, who doesn't love fucking monsters, right? Oh no. Hopefully you don't love fucking monsters. I mean, who doesn't love monsters? Oh lord. This is why you shouldn't swear, children. It gets you into trouble. So yeah, the premise of this story is that Rose Evans, our normal hot mess of a teenage girl, finds out that she is part of this ancient race of monster hunters called the Dorathians, and then has to spend her life training and becoming one while balancing her life as just a regular high school teen. And then the other element too is all these monster hunters have a superpower, and so hers is mind reading. So she's trying to like learn how to hunt and be like swords, and then also having to deal with suddenly being able to read people's minds. So the other characters, there are sort of 4 main characters. There's Rose, then there's Selena, who is a Latina monster hunter from Colombia, and she is like the biggest badass of the book, okay? Like, just very, not unfeeling, but like blunt, a little bit sadistic, really into fighting, not squeamish, kind of like your traditional like masculine warrior, except for like she's a woman. So I'm trying to show like another kind of femininity here, or another way of being a woman here, and she acts as like the complete foil to Rose, so they're almost opposite in every way. And initially they butt heads because they are so opposite, but they're both obviously very strong-willed in their own opinions. And Rose is quite gentle and doesn't want to kill things. She doesn't like killing things. And she's quite afraid of failing and is very insecure, so she's not very inclined towards monster hunting as other people might be, whereas Selena is like, fuck yeah, I get to fuck shit up, yeah! So most of the first part of the book is Rose being like, I can't do it, and Selena being like, oh my gosh, fucking grow up, people are gonna die, bitch. Then we have our 2 boy characters. We have Eric, who is your traditional kind of nerd. He knows everything about every kind of monster ever, and it's basically their walking textbook, so he's the main strategist of the group, also just super nice. So instead of making him like the really socially awkward nerd, he's just so kind. And so even though him and Rose aren't really friends, he is a lot of why she's able to fit into the world. Then our 4th character is Ben. He is going to be Rose's main love interest over the course of the series, although in the beginning she kind of hates him. So he's, you know, your typical mysterious bad boy who's a bit of an ass, although he's not actually an asshole. It's just that like Rose is a little bit whiny at the beginning, and he's more like Selena in that he's like, oh, what the fuck, like we got shit to do, stop! So yeah, he doesn't have a lot of patience with her in the beginning, and that's why they don't get along very well. But as the story progresses, they start to realize how similar they actually are, and how both kind of deep down their greatest desire is just for like a normal life, but not in the sense of like I wish monsters didn't exist necessarily, but in the sense of like they desire community and security and family and friendship and all these kind of things. So he is sort of the newer member to the monster hunting crew before they found Rose. So he kind of gets what she's going through in that Selena and Eric were raised in this world, so they completely, like, it's all they know and they're fine with it, whereas Ben is a little more sympathetic to Rose because he knows what it's like to come in not knowing what you are, but having been able to see monsters your whole life and thinking that you were insane. So they can bond a little. They bond a little bit over that. It was so cute. Oh my word, help me. Yeah. Is it really bad to be geeking out over your own story? Probably, but like, I don't even care. Yeah, so what else can I tell you? I don't want to give away much of the plot because I do want you guys to read it as my beta readers. That's the basic premise, the basic characters. There's obviously more I can tell you, so if you want to know more, please leave a comment. Maybe I'll make like another one going into a little more detail. Or one thing I was also thinking about is maybe making like author diaries, so like my headspace as I'm trying to juggle things and like what's going on, but I don't know if that's super boring for you or what. Therapeutic for me, so I don't know, but like comment if that's something that would interest you. Yeah, I don't know. I'm also in my other spare time working on kind of a dark, gritty, high fantasy retelling of The Wizard of Oz, but maybe I'll get into that another time. So this is my novel, Rose Evans and the Monster Hunters. If you want to know more about it, let me know in the comments. And yeah, until next time, thanks for listening, Word Nerds. Bye!